I talked to a very special guest. Her name is Amanda Gorman. She's going to join us in just a moment. She captivated the nation. You know who she is. She gave us all hope when she recited her uplifting and powerful poetry at the inauguration of President Biden and Vice President Harris. Before Gorman became the youngest known inaugural poet, she performed, we're happy to say, 5 original poems for us here at CBS This Morning. Over the past 3 years, they include The Miracle of Morning, which is about finding hope and courage.
The question isn't if we will weather this unknown, but how we will weather this unknown together. So on this meaningful morn, we mourn and we mend like lights. We can't be broken even when we bend.
Her poetry spoke to the moment as America faced a reckoning over racial inequality.
All Black lives matter. Black lives are worth living, worth defending, worth every struggle. We owe it to the fallen to fight.
She moved the nation as the youngest inaugural poet with her words and her story.
We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
And after the deadly attack on the Capitol, she gave the country hope when it needed it most.
When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it.
Still gives me goosebumps. A special hardcover edition of Gorman's The Hill We Climb, an inaugural poem for the country, goes on sale tomorrow, and we're happy to say Amanda Gorman joins us now. There she is from Los Angeles, wearing her signature yellow. Hello, Amanda Gorman. It's so good to see you.
Great to see you and your yellow. I love it.
Yes, I knew you were coming today. So I've heard you say that you wanted to find the words the world needed to hear and that you needed to write. We're very happy here at CBS. We are not late to the Amanda Gorman party, but do you feel like you've been shot out of a rocket? And what was it, the message you wanted the country to get that day? First, I want to know what this has been like for you after writing that poem and on the national stage when people go, who is that? Wow.
Rocket ship is absolutely the correct word. I feel like I've been kind of catapulted into this new chapter of my life, and it's really just been so rewarding for me to actually watch and observe, because the effect that I think that it's had on poetry, where I'm talking with other writers and they're saying, wow, you know, my poetry book sales have gone up after your inauguration speech, or talking with teachers who are like, actually, I'm going to bring back poetry into the classroom. That's huge for me, because it means the impact lives on and it continues to change people's ideas and beliefs about all that literature can be.
Yeah, that's nice. I didn't know that part of the story. What is it, when you say, I wanted to come up with the words that the world needed to hear and I needed to write? What does that mean?
Well, it means that for me as a writer, often it's difficult to try to hold yourself to coming up with quote unquote new ideas. For me, I try to hold myself to the standard, which is, how do I say old feelings, old ideas, old sensations in a new way, so that all of a sudden there exists a language to talk about this pain, to talk about this hope. So for me, it's kind of looking at the full expanse of the human experience right now, particularly as we battle COVID, as we battle racial inequality, and saying, what is the rhetoric that needs to be born in order for us to have a way to talk about this, both with honesty and with hope?
And we need those words to be able to talk about these issues. Amanda, it's Adriana Diaz. We did a podcast together about 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember.
I remember. I want to say congratulations on the baby.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Amanda. So in 2018, you told me that you were inspired by Maya Angelou, who overcame being mute as a child. You grew up with a speech impediment that makes it hard to say certain words, but you said that you were able to turn that, what some people see as a weakness, into a strength. How did you do that?
Lots of practice. For me, growing up with a speech impediment meant that I was always kind of struggling to say a certain set of words, particularly words that have R in them. And at first, what that meant in my poetry is I would actually erase R words from my text so I wouldn't have to say them aloud. But as I grew older and started to lean into my voice and what having a speech impediment meant, I kept those words and started using poetry as a speech pathology. And so I learned a lot through reciting poetry, spoken word, and rap, and the lyrics, and taught myself how to say these letters, which for so long had been kind of my greatest weakness, so that it gave me the practice and the strength to the point that I could do something like an inaugural poem. And so I don't consider having a speech impediment necessarily as a disability, but actually as a strength. It gave me my greatest superpower, which is my voice.
That's a great way to look at it. You know, another unique part of your upbringing, Amanda, is, well, not only that your mother is an English teacher, but that you had family meetings in your household, I believe from the time you were 3 years old, which is early on the family meeting front. How did that help build your love of language and your ability with words?
Today is actually my day to run the family meeting, so thank you for reminding me of that. But it was always a great space that my mom set up where all the family members, including the dog who had to have her own translator, were called to the table, and we were all, expected to come discuss news, our life, in, a very kind of civic and open and honest manner. But also every child was given the power to run the meeting. So my days are like Mondays and Thursdays. And what that meant is, even as a child with the speech impediment, this meant that daily I had a platform in which my voice was heard. And it's actually a practice that I consider to continue today. So I'll still be in meetings, I'll still be on talk shows, and I'm still acting like that 5-year-old girl who was running the family meeting and saying, actually, we didn't get to hear about your day. Actually, I would love to translate for my dog, who also has ideas at the moment, whose food bowl is empty. And so it's kind of continuing that practice of learning to pass the mic, even when you've been handed it.
Well, listen, I can't wait to see what happens in 2036. Tony pointed this out, and I love this. On the back here, there you are standing in front of the presidential seal. I'm thinking one of these days you will be standing behind the presidential seal and you'll be Madam President. You're still planning that, are you not?
Oh, 100%.
All right, Amanda Gorman. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Good luck at the family meeting today. Something tells me you're going to kill it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. As we mentioned,